Played in the top tier in Austria. Was a one-time Schreiber, the 19-year-old midfielder out of Bomaderry, where he played his youth football. So Melbourne City's 400th A-League men's match is underway against Western United, who chased their first win of the season. And it's a very good evening to Phil Moss and Mossy. It might be only round 3, but it's a match which is coming at a crucial time for both of these teams.
Certainly is. Good evening to you too, Benny. Great to be alongside you, and yeah, so much importance in these 3 points. I know it's early in the season, but how Melbourne City bounced back from that derby defeat and the manner in which they lost that first half last week is absolutely critical, of course. And Western United, as you said, chasing their first 3 points. Statistically, they haven't been too bad in the first 2 games, Western United, so they'll be, I think, reasonably confident of breaking through for that first 3-pointer tonight.
2 1-all draws to begin the season, but confidence they can take out of that. As you said, Mossy, both matches they came from behind to nab a point against Wellington in the opening round, where Thurgate scored the equaliser, and then Ibasuki last week at home at Ironbark Fields. Suprayon towards Kuhn. One of those players that Aurelio Vidmar threw on in the second half last week, Andreas Kuhn with Zane Schreiber. So no surprises that those two into the starting 11 this week. Mossy, they were vastly improved in the second half, but the problem was they were 3-0 down by that point, and that was the concern for Aurelio Vidmar.
Yeah, that's right. And to the naked eye from the outside looking in, the 2 positives out of last week were the reaction after half-time from Melbourne City to what Aurelio said at half-time, and also the fact that Andrew Naboot was the goal scorer. You always want your front men scoring goals, so that would have given him confidence after Tilio scored in that round 1 win over Newcastle.
99th A-League men's match for Aurelio Vidmar as head coach. He has coached Adelaide to the 2009 grand final, which they lost 1-0 to Victory, and the 2008 Champions League final, which they lost over 2 legs to Gamba Osaka. Here's an important win for Western United. Real chance for Ibasuki. Space in front of him, but he just dallied on the ball, and that allowed Kuhn to come back and pinch possession.
He did. He just took far too long on the ball, Ibasuki. I'm sure in his deepest, darkest thoughts, he would never have thought he had too much time just outside the Melbourne City penalty box. Kuhn doing a really good job tracking back and getting the ball back for his side.
Finding Russell. Pressure coming from Melbourne City. Now Danzaki. And Russell's pass won by Ugarkovic. Kuhn with the attempted backheel flick, but that is a bright moment for Melbourne City. They applied some good pressure there to Western and almost got a result.
Yeah, there's good energy about the opening few minutes. Western United certainly pressing high. Melbourne City looking like they've got energy in the legs on the ball.
Now, if you're not a racing fan, horse racing that is, probably wondering why this is being played on a Monday night. Well, that's of course because it's Cup Eve, so public holiday for Victorians tomorrow. Campo3D putting it towards the middle and MI away. Beach start in round one for City, the goalkeeper. But last week brought back to earth with that really disappointing goal he conceded under pressure of Teague. Now it's Sutton put under pressure. Western United have to get it away from danger. Haven't done so here. Schreiber and Atkinson. Switching it back out to Marco Tilio. And Shamoon, he nailed his assignment there, but the flag came up regardless.
Interesting to see that Vitti has deployed Atkinson at left fullback this week in the absence of Aziz Bajic. As we just see, gee whiz.
Tight, isn't it?
Not sure that was offside. If that had ended up in the back of the net, I think VAR would have overruled that offside. But Atkinson deployed at left fullback with Harry Campo3D's the more advanced role on the left-hand side. Obviously, the loss as is Bajic, the captain, out for 2 games.
Well, intriguing to note, last week, Aurelio Vidmar started Kai Truan alongside Atkinson in the midfield. So Atkinson back to a more traditional role for him. And then Kai Truan, same deal for him, back to the centre-back position where he was in the second half last week, where he's been so often deployed in the A-League at Brisbane Roar. Marco Tilio doesn't earn a free kick here. Maybe tried to look for it too much. He certainly looked to have Shamoon's cover. And he was just able to block him off. Supray on with the header away. He looked to be beating Shamoon. All ends up down that edge and maybe just looking for the contact. Marco Tilio. Referee waved his appeals away. Reece Bozanovski's first A-League men's start since December 2022, made a couple of starts that season. Comes back in for Seb Pasquale for Western United tonight. Seb, of course, had that horror injury spell with the hip problem where he played 21 matches over the course of 4 seasons, so you can understand why Western don't want him playing too many matches in the starting side week in, week out. Patrick Beach urging Supray on forward here, wants the speed. That was probably what was lacking in the first half last week, Mossy, just the way they laboured in possession.
Yeah, well, you could see Supray and then run the ball into the space vacated by Nathaniel Atkinson, who played in that inverted role as a fullback. Opened the space for the big centre-back to carry the ball forward. It really paid off, but for a very good challenge by Reece Bozanovski. Ball and all tackled from the midfielder.
Atkinson, little stumble, but he was able to right himself. Schreiber and Naboo. Here's Ugarkovic. And Tilio, promising signs for City. And Talbot's delivery, and it just skipped off the turf and a little too high for Andreas Kuhn.
He was well positioned there, Kern, and that was a very good delivery from Talbot. As the ball goes wide to Tilio, he squared up and then just lays the ball back to Talbot. Look at this. Really good whip and bend and pace on that ball into a teasing area. Nothing to apologise for there, Talbot. Great delivery.
Dylan Leonard's delivery over the sideline in front of Laval. Just wondering whether those socks are high enough, Mossy. Would that satisfy Ali Reza Fagani, or would he be asking him to pull his socks up again like last week?
Depends if he's in a consistent frame of mind or not, Benny. I must admit, I did get a little chuckle out of that.
It certainly makes it easier for a commentator when someone's socks are down. Another characteristic you can use to differentiate is Tilio. And Kuhn let it run on for you, Garkovic. Now Politidis at the overlap of Atkinson, but looked inside and came off a leg of Danzaki straight to Sutton.
I think the reaction from Nathaniel said it all. He was expecting the ball to be delivered. As you see, Tilio central to everything again. But Melbourne City are doing well here. And there's the run from Atkinson. Probably wasn't the wrong decision. He just laboured on it a little bit too long, Politidis.
Or was it an option that was maybe a little too cute when he had the obvious Atkinson on the outside, Mossy?
Well, you could argue both ways. I think Atkinson was well covered. I'd take Russell.
But regardless of that, first 10 minutes, Melbourne City, they're looking good here. They are just shading this match so far, creating some half chances. You can see possession being dominated by the visiting side in this one. Diving in there, trying to win it back. Great scrap from Tilio, but it's now with Grimaldi. And Imai, who gives it away. Naboot looking to turn, and Leonard leaves it away for Western United, but it's coming back here via Ugarkovic and Kuhn. Atkinson. That's a great win from Danzaki. One-on-one. Thieves it off. Atkinson, who then says, well, whatever you can do, I can do better.
They both just showed a little bit too much of the ball to each other, didn't they? A little one-on-one exchange there between Danzaki and Nathaniel Atkinson. It's going to be a great little battle as the game progresses.
It's a little bit awkward for Imai there. Did soften his fall. Western United's captain tonight, vice-captain for the season, with Ben Garuccio still missing with that groin injury. Really frustrating for Garuccio, named captain, and then you can't start the season after a pre-season problem. Laval. Ibasuki's pass just didn't quite have the power behind it to link with his compatriot, Danzaki.
And a critical intervention from Atkinson. He read that well. I think his reading of the play and a little bit of lack of pace on the delivery of the ball, as you call it, really helped Atkinson thwart the danger. I think if you look at the first 12 and a half or so minutes, Leo Vidmar would be pretty pleased with what he's seen so far as a reaction from last week goes. They certainly look more in the zone to what they did this time last week, although it's a low bar.
That sounded like a really Vidmar, Mossy, so maybe he thinks that there's still a couple more levels they can go through with their speed of play. And I think the frustrating thing for him as well was it was a derby. And he said that in the press conference. If you're not going to get up for a derby, then what are you going to get up for?
Yeah, 100%. I think they looked, I don't know, intimidated to some degree, because Melbourne Victory just simply blew them off the park. although they squared the ledger statistically over the case of the 90 minutes, they certainly didn't win the stat that mattered most. Well, the two stats, effort and the scoreboard.
Shamoon, that was neat. Grimaldi ran into a cul-de-sac. Gets himself out of it by linking with Leonard. And now Thurgate buzzing around as he often does in midfield. Important intervention in the air by Kai Truan to win it back for City. Politidis can string this pass out to Kuhn. And Kuhn able to find Politidis with the return pass. Now Atkinson. So from a spot of bother defensively, Melbourne City have turned that to a place of comfort. Can they turn it into an opportunity? No, they can't. Ibasuki and Grimaldi will track this one down. One back by Truan.
Well, they're the little moments. Grimaldi's first touch let him down there. He just took his eye off the ball. They had great momentum going forward, Melbourne City. They're the moments that'll frustrate Aurelio Vidmar, because you can see the difference there between an attack that was really building some promise, one that just lost all its momentum. Of course, I'm talking about Western United and John Aloisi, not Melbourne City.
Atkinson, and he's threaded the eye of the needle, and Andrew Naboot almost completed it. That would have been quite a miraculous goal for Melbourne City.
Well, he may well have just been offside, but would have been ruled back onside, because I think West United played it there, and there's a touch from Imai. That is brilliant instincts from Andrew Naboot, and almost just as brilliant execution.
Free kick here for Melbourne City. That was a near miss for Western United. And, oh, this is a concern. So Imai is split, and that's not an area you want to get a cut, is it, Mossy? Up around the eye.
No, there's plenty of blood that'll come out of that. It just catches the back of Nathaniel Atkinson's head. You can see there, I think Atkinson will definitely come out of that.
Now, there is a bit of blood there. I just wonder whether that's Imai's blood or whether it is Atkinson's, because if he's got a cut on the back of his head, that's not great either. Oh, there he is.
Yep. Both spilled some claret for their side.
Gee. So John Aloisi just with a chance to have a chat to his side. They're through the start to this game have probably been just slightly second best, would you say, Mossy?
Yeah, I think Melbourne City probably have had a bit more energy on the ball and been able to keep the ball for sustained periods. Although apart from the Naboot half chance, haven't really had much to show for it in front of goal. Here we see that clash again, and we go back to the old school of hard knocks. I'd rather have a cut in the back of my head than in the corner of my eye. You can deal with that better, whereas it could well, depending on what the medical staff do for Ibasuki, could impact his vision.
Especially as a striker as well. Vision's important for every player, but especially as a striker, especially with those glancing headers that Ibasuki is known for. So he's going to get that taped up. How often did you get taped up like this?
I prided myself on making sure my opponents were the ones getting taped up, Benny.
Here's that chance. Atkinson all the way through to Naboot. The dexterity and technique of Andrew Naboot there.
Yeah.
Absolutely top draw.
The awareness, the touch. All he needed to do was drag that across his body into the far bottom corner. Would have been in the back of the net. That's easy to say from the comfort of the commentary box.
important to note, the man that made that save, Matt Sutton, has usurped Tom Hewitt-Bell as the first choice at Western United, coming up against his old side. He actually made his A-League men's debut with Melbourne City back in May 2021. So Nathaniel Atkinson coming from the field. High five between both players. No hard feelings, just an unfortunate footballing accident. So Ibasuki back on. Atkinson's still getting taped up. So City down to 10 for the moment. And Atkinson looks set to return to the action now. As Leonard searches for Laval. So this is the 18th meeting between these two clubs. Melbourne City leading it 10-5. I should say 17th meeting, 10-5 with one draw. And here at Amy Park, City leading it 7-5. But from a Western United perspective, they'll say they won the match that mattered back in 2022 on the final day of the season. A 2-0 grand final win.
Yeah, fantastic moment for such a young club as well.
And Mossy, we were discussing this pre-game, the players in this Western United squad, how many of them were part of that championship winning side back in 2022? Only just over 2 years ago.
Well, I'll take a wild guess and just say one.
There's only one. Tomoki Imai. He's the only man. Garuccio, of course, injured at the moment. But in this squad here tonight, just Tomoki Imai. It has been quite a dramatic change in personnel over 2.5 years for Western United and John Aloisi.
He's been a wonderful addition for Western United and to the A-League. Tomoki Imai obviously playing more as a central defender these days. We've seen him play as a right back as well.
Ugarkovic. Russell almost getting a toe in, but it's Atkinson who won it. And then a slip from Kern at the key moment.
Yeah, he just couldn't sort his feet out quick enough, could he, Kern? They're looking like they're threatening Melbourne City when they go forward at pace, particularly in the transition moments. Just missing that final pass.
Thurgate. Ibasuki and Lavar couldn't connect with Grimaldi.
Final passes. Looks like it's an impediment at both ends of the pitch at the moment.
Well, it's no surprises. You've got two sides just lacking a little bit of confidence. I know it's only round 3, but both from an attacking perspective and somewhat stymied this season. 2 goals each across the opening 2 matches of the campaign. Now Talbot a chance to stretch his legs. Links with Tilio. Good dip on this. Politidis into the base of the post. He's asking for a corner. Did it come off a Western United player there on the way to the post?
We'll see on the replay. Talbot driving at the Western United defence. Tilio with some wonderful delivery. I think Politidis has gone for goal there. I think probably the better option is to cut it back because all goalkeepers will have that near post covered. He is close. If you're going to go for goal from that distance, you have to score. 2 or 3 willing runners central in that 6-yard box waiting for the delivery.
Yet to score in his A-League men's career. Beach under pressure. And the Western United fans certainly making plenty of noise when he's on the ball. They remember what happened last week in the Melbourne Derby. And Patrick Beach does not want to have history repeat because he's got Jamie Young sitting on the bench. Vastly experienced goalkeeper.
Well, it is horrible, isn't it, for any goalkeeper. As we just see Beach's touch there. He's dragged the ball across his body. A little bit nervous, but It's horrible for any goalkeeper, let alone a young one, to make a big mistake on a big stage. It's how they bounce back, and I must say, it's good. It's great to see Aurelio Vidmar and the staff back Young Beach.
Looking to play it out again here, Melbourne City. They break through the press here of Western United. Schreiber. Ugarkovic. He did it well initially, but then his former Jets teammate Angus Thurgate came across. Ensures Western United will earn themselves a throw. Atkinson and Politidis, and at left back for Aziz Bajic. So if he performs well today, you'd expect he'll have that spot as well next week against Perth Glory. Bajic suspended for 2 matches, despite not being sent off last week in the derby. Schreiber has it pinched by Bozanovski. He will be fortunate here not to go into the book. Will it just be a warning here from Ben Abraham? It was a little bit cynical.
It certainly was, but that's really good strength from Bozanovski. Look at that, the determination to protect the ball once he'd won it. It has been a feature of these early rounds, Benny. The referees tending to be much more lenient.
Ugarkovic thought he was playing a different sport there.
Thurgate just drops a hip into Ugarkovic, his former Newcastle teammate. It can be quite dangerous. Player airborne comes down from that angle.
Ugarkovic can't get on the end of it. She's getting the game's up, isn't he, Steve Ugarkovic? 224th A-League men's match tonight. Such a regular figure at the Newcastle Jets. Then he's been through Western Sydney, Wellington, and now Melbourne City.
Yeah, and he's one of those midfielders who just gets through so much work. We know he can play as a 6, he can play as an 8. He can drop into defence and do a job there if need be.
He's the ultimate professional, isn't he, Ugarkovic? So consistent week in, week out. Grimaldi and Laval. Melbourne City are going to earn the whistle here as Talbot hits the deck.
Again, it comes down to a poor touch from Grimaldi. He's got to get the ball under control better than that. He's turned that into a touch tackle situation.
Truant. The crossfield ball looking for Politidis, but it's been cut out, and now Danzaki did find Bozanovski, and now Russell through Ibasuki. Truant back on it for City. Both sides really struggling for that fluency with that final pass at the moment. Andrew Naboot, Harry Politidis with the 2 best chances of the game so far. Those are those 2 shots at goal. Outside of that, very little to speak of in terms of attacking opportunities. Kuhn able to shoulder himself away from Danzaki, and then couldn't link inboard with either Ugarkovic or Naboot. Politides, Atkinson, very deep to Tilio on the first touch. Too heavy.
Well, I have to say, Zane Schreiber's done some really tidy things in midfield for Melbourne City so far in this game. That last attack was set up by some really nifty footwork in a very tight area. A little bit earlier, he put in a great tackle to win the ball for his side and set his team off on attack again. Good early signs.
He's just come back from time with the young Socceroos in that Under-20 Asian Cup qualifiers. They did qualify for that tournament, young Socceroos, which is going to take place in China in February next year. So a big opportunity there for the young Socceroos to try and make the FIFA Under-20 World Cup. We always know if one of our youth national teams can get to a World Cup, what an impact it can have down the line. You've only got to look at the likes of Noah Botic, who's on the bench for Western tonight, who scored a number of goals at the Under-17 World Cup a few years back, to see what impact it can have. Shamoon, he won through to the final with Iraq in the Under-20 Asian Cup last year. Went down to Uzbekistan. Grimaldi through towards Laval, and the ball has crossed the byline.
Yeah, and the reverse of that, Benny, is a real kidney blow to the development of young Australian players when we don't make those major tournaments. It's absolutely critical for our A-League and for our national teams to have the youth national teams playing at those major tournaments. As we see there, Melbourne City with over 100 more passes, which is aligned to the superior possession they've had.
Suprayon. The boot was rising. I ran him under it though. Now Sutton, pressure on Tate Russell. Big pressure coming from Andrew Naboot. And now Dylan Leonard, Western United's youngest ever player. Achieved that in round one when he came off the bench. Danzaki, some space opening up for Riku Danzaki. Stepping left and right, and now the shot from Bozanovski is deflected over the crossbar by Suprayon.
Oh, he needs to go and buy a lottery ticket tonight, Suprayon. How many times have we seen those deflections end up in the back of the net? Danzaki with some really clever play on the right-hand side to set up Bozanovski, who really gets a decent strike away. Nothing that was really going to trouble Beach had it found its way all the way through. Suprayon throws his leg at it, deflects it to safety.
Would have been a first A-League goal for Reece Bozanovski. First corner for Western United. And Grimaldi puts it straight into the arms of Beach. And a boot, I believe. Yeah, just down for the moment. Maybe a bit of a head clash in there.
Andrew Naboot might have just been using some experience to take the sting out of it. Doesn't look like there's a lot of contact.
He's stronger than that, isn't he, Andrew Naboot?
Built like an ox.
He is. Came back to Australia with victory initially after some time with Urawa in Japan after he played a starring role in the Newcastle Jets revival under Ernie Merrick in the 17-18 season. Didn't play in that grand final though, because he'd already departed for the J-League and suffered that injury over there, which sort of stalled a bit of progress. He's charging after this one, but Leonard gets there first. Stay inside the line, so it's play on here for Atkinson. Ugarkovic angles it to Tilio. Talbot squeezed it through. Ugarkovic is coming after it. And Matt Sutton, not on the first, but on the second, his desperation to dive on the ball.
Oh, how relieved was he, Sutton, that it was there to dive on the second time. Really brave goalkeeping here. Puts his body on the line and the second time. Almost brilliant. Look at that from Talbot. Picked out Ugarkovic's run. Just didn't quite have the toe to get there. I think he might have just hesitated oh so slightly, Ugarkovic, as to whether the ball was going to arrive or not. In the end, Sutton was favourite. He did what all good goalkeepers do.
How often do you see it when you watch goalkeeper training? The amount of times they go through that kind of situation. You don't see it often play out in a game, every now and then, and that is why in those moments they're able to nail it, just like Matt Sutton did there.
Yeah, 100% right. Goalkeepers do that day in, day out, hundreds of times of training. All for moments just like that.
You might, well, he apologises, because that was not where he intended the clearance to go. It is going to invite a Melbourne City corner. They had the most corners in the league coming into this round. Haven't been able to put one away, though. This their first of the evening. So how will the delivery be from the Austrian Andreas Kern on starting debut in the A-League? Bends it around onto the head of Leonard. Now Ugarkovic back into the mix. Spills for Atkinson. And Tilio.
Well, the answer to your question, Benny, is very good. That delivery from Kern, I thought was into a fantastic area. Just lacked a willing runner to really attack it. All the pace and whip and bend on it that you'd expect.
Intelligence there from Thurgate, wasn't it? His experience from a player that's only 24 years of age. He has got a mountain of experience under his belt.
Yeah, wise head on those shoulders. There's no doubt.
So 146th A-League men's match tonight for Thurgate at 24. Just think about if he can stay injury-free, he stays in Australia. Not a given, of course. The talent he possesses certainly could head abroad. Suprayon. Oh, pressure again on City here as they look to play it out. And they are going to get a goal kick at the end of that.
Well, I've got away with it, but honestly, this trend I'm seeing where teams are overplaying from the back at the wrong time, inviting trouble. We saw it on the weekend in the New Zealand derby. Jake Brimmer with a tap in to give Auckland the 3 points. Saw it again last week in the Melbourne derby.
Thurgate, key win in midfield. And Suprayon with the key toe in. Tillia. And couldn't squeeze it through. Leonard. So very transitional the last little period of this game. And Schreiber sliding in. Can't quite get the pass to Talbot initially.
I think Tillio's got a problem here. He went down clutching his hamstring.
Play going on. And Tilio still prone. So will someone kick it out? It's not going to matter because Ben Abraham is going to call play to a halt. And this will be very intriguing to see what happened to Marco Tilio.
Just at the end of his run, just as he released the ball. It's a driving run into midfield, and it's just there. Just he goes to ground, look, grabs his hamstring straight away. That's not a good sign.
Well, this is heartbreaking, and you can see the reaction. So he knows he's done probably a hamstring here, Marco Tilio, and we know the injury issues that he has had recently. Of course, when he went over to Celtic, didn't get a great run, comes back on loan to Melbourne City at the back end of last season. He then had an injury.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking.
And that was a hamstring. That was a hamstring in February earlier this year that kept him out for about 6 weeks, and now it's another problem here. So you can see Mehmedi, I should say, just warming up there. See the man that could be called upon to replace Tilio. Your heart goes out to him. Gee, that's a sad, sad sight.
It really is. All you can do is wish him a speedy recovery and hope it's not too serious. The frustration, particularly with recurring injuries, those soft tissue recurring injuries are so frustrating.
So Mossy, injuries for Melbourne City at the moment: Caputo leg, Lapane knee, Suleimani calf, Antonio foot, Nikovsky knee, Shillington ankle, Durakovic hamstring, Jego Bajic suspended. Tilio hamstring, TBC. That's quite the injury list.
It certainly is. It certainly is, and I'm sure the coaching staff will be doing their investigations as to how many of them can be avoided. And you can't, obviously.
And all of those, on the face of it, soft tissue. It's really sad to see Marco Tilio heading down the tunnel. So here is an A-League debut for Medin Mehmeti, the 17-year-old. If he scores tonight, he would be the youngest Melbourne City goal scorer. He would edge out Max Caputo. So what an opportunity for him. The Dandenong Thunder Junior on A-League men's debut. Congratulations to him. And there's a bit of trickery from Ibusuki, bearing down on goal, Hiroshi Ibusuki. And he tried to be too cute in the end, and Patrick Beach was able to control and dive on the ball.
Oh, you're just waiting for him to unleash and rifle the ball into the back of the net. He does oh so well here to get the nutmeg on Atkinson, and then he drives into the area and then looks like he's trying to cut the ball back. In the end, he just gave Melbourne City too long an opportunity to get legs and bodies back. I thought he had a couple of great opportunities there to just unleash Ibusuki.
Truant, Ugarkovic and Naboot. And Naboot off Thurgate. A corner is coming for Melbourne City. And we saw the danger that Kuhn can present with that left foot in-swinger.
Well, that's great determination from both players. Naboot wasn't going to let it go. Neither was Thurgate. Two great competitors. There goes the signal that they would have practiced on the training pitch all week.
X marks the spot here. This delivery. Oh, and it almost beat Grimaldi at the near post and dribbled towards the 6-yard box. Ugarkovic. And the whistle goes here from Ben Abraham. Thurgate's hands go up in the air. There is a free kick for Melbourne City in a decent area.
Well, with the delivery we've seen from Kern, near post, I'm not sure if that was 100% part of the plan, but almost turned out well as we see the foul, clear foul on Ugarkovic. His first corner is anything to go by. This is a good area for Kern.
He's going to leave it for Talbot. Suprayon free as a bird at the back post. And he very nearly found Naboot.
And the commentator's curse almost got them a goal as well. No sooner, as I said, Kern was going to take it. It's been swung to the back post by Talbot. Really good delivery. And Suprayan knows exactly what he's doing there. It's either going just inside the near post or straight onto the noggin of Andrew Naboot. Neither was the outcome, but that's a big chance for Melbourne City.
Well, you can see shots at goal favouring Melbourne City. They have had some great chances in this first half, but nothing to show for it.
Well, I thought that ball was out. Our assistant referee, Joanna Charatkis, was right on the spot.
Well, you could say she's a little bit closer. Here's the ball floated up.
Forward!
Talbot. Ugarkovic, and now Naboot. Another decent delivery from Talbot, and Kuhn got up. And then the strike came from Ugarkovic.
Yeah, it was a physical challenge in the box, wasn't it? Kern going up for it. Ball falling for Ugarkovic. He just couldn't get over the ball enough, but the pressure just starting to build. Melbourne City just tightening the screws a little bit.
It's not often you see Steve Ugarkovic strike with his left foot. It's interesting. That would have been one for the Collectors. Truant in a duel with Laval, flicked on by Talbot, and now Naboot. Here goes Kuhn, cross to Politides. Ted Russell stood his ground, but the ball spills into midfield for a long-range strike, and Schreiber had it on target, just not the power or the accuracy to trouble Sutton.
He went the safety option here. Young Schreiber inside of the foot. He was probably never going to get enough purchase or power on it from that distance, using that inside of the foot technique. Really need to get his laces around it. But again, it's another shot on target from Melbourne City. Now, we're disappointed they haven't got a lead to show for their superiority in possession and shots on goal and shots on target in particular.
Imai turning it to Sutton. Up the line. And Ibasuki able to keep that from crossing the sideline.
On the flip side of that, Western United can take heart. They're still level on the scoreboard. Not that they've been second best by a long way. Certainly Melbourne City have had the better of the chances in possession.
Kuhn deflects into the path of Sutton. Well, it is Melbourne Cup Day tomorrow. Mossy, what are you saying? City by a nose at the moment? Or a head?
Or a furlong.
And that's the issue, isn't it, for City? Because if they don't get that goal, after all the pressure they've had, Western United, they've shown they are good enough to pinch one at the other end. They had a very near moment earlier with Ibasuki. That's well brought down by Politides. Great opportunity in stoppage time to score his first A-League goal.
Oh, he just couldn't find the composure at the key moment here. That's a wonderful ball over the top and a wonderful first touch to set him up. And then Politides just couldn't keep his composure. All he had to do was place that past Sutton. It would have given them their deserved lead.
Dean just loved those reactions behind the goal. That's that strike. To be a football fan in that moment, you're just hoping for the net to bulge. Hands to the back of heads. Matt Sutton was breathing a sigh of relief.
I think that's where, for our young local players to go to the next level, needs to be from those situations, not hoping to bulge the net, but expecting to. Real mindset piece. That's why strikers the world over have paid the big bucks. Make time stand still in those situations.
Russell, lovely pass to Danzaki. Ibasuki was free in the middle of the box, and Riku tried to rip it towards the top corner.
Well, he could well cop a little spray from his teammate in the dressing room at half-time, because he had to. He just had to play that square into the path of Ibasuki or find the top corner. one or the other, but where it did end up is unacceptable.
Sorry, Mossy, mistake there. It wasn't just Ibasuki, it was Grimaldi as well who was free. 2 Western United players free in the box, and Dansaki went for the strike at Glory. As this ball will skip off the turf rather awkwardly for the Western backline. So chances flowing here at the back end of the first up. Now Steve Ugarkovic urged to shoot. Nabudas as well. And that was always rising. Oh, what an entertaining finish to this first half. It has come to the boil beautifully, and we still have 45 minutes to go here at Amy Park. That he came into the game with Marco Tilio suffering what we expect is a hamstring injury, which could rule him out for some time. But no goals in that first half. Western United 2 draws to begin the season. City a win over Newcastle, a loss to Victory last week. So on Melbourne Cup Eve, we are back underway in the second half at Amy Park. Still no closer to knowing who's going to win this one, Mossy. Melbourne City shading the first half, but it's all to play for in the second.
Well, all we can hope for as neutrals is that the second half kicks off like the first half ended, because it was coming to a boil very, very nicely indeed. Melbourne City probably with the better chances. Western United proving, give them a sniff, they'll threaten your goal.
You just wonder after that frantic finish to the first half whether both coaches may just rein things in a little bit, have a chat to their players at halftime, because the match was getting a little bit stretched. Politidis, that pass to Mehmeti. So just confirming those lineups. No changes at halftime, but a change midway through that first half. Tilio coming off and Mehmeti on.
Of course, it's nothing against Mehmeti. Marco Tilio, just about everything good Melbourne City did was at the heart of it until he went off. You just know how devastating a player he is with the ball at his feet. His vision, his delivery to the back post for the Politidis chance that hit the post.
Another problem here for Naboot. You can hear the Melbourne City bench asking the referee why they haven't got a free kick.
You can see Shabul Shamoon just collect the back of Andrew Naboot's head.
Pure accident.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, nothing intentional in it.
Just Melbourne City bench were trying to make out that he was not going for the ball, it sounded, but certainly was having a go. Ibasuki got goal side of Truant initially. Didn't quite have the speed though to track down the ball, but they have got a throw here, Western United. So they're playing all of their home matches against Victory and City here at Amy Park, and then the rest of those fixtures at Tarneed at Ironbark Fields. Pull this head up. That was very dangerous. Straight across the face of goal.
Yeah, it's a massive development for the club to have a home so they can build a culture and a history. Great to hear from Steve Horvat at half-time. All the young kids that are being brought through, developed through the academy.
And that's one of the fantastic aspects of this season. So many young players getting an opportunity in the Isuzu Youth A League this season. Western have been a side traditionally over the recent history that have played more experienced players. Here's a break here for Kuhn. But many on the inside, so too Naboot. And it's Andrew Naboot who scores in back-to-back matches for Melbourne City. He's knocking it out of the park at the moment in some fine form. And City get a well-deserved goal here.
Fantastic counter-attack, and it's one in midfield on the Harvey Norman replay by the goal scorer, Andrew Naboot. Ball's played wide to Mehmeti, who does brilliantly to put the ball on a platter for his captain. It's Kern, in fact, in the wide area, who squares it for Andrew Naboot. Mehmeti played the ball wide to Kern, and they finally found the killer pass and the final touch to take the lead on the scoreboard. and showing he's not just a goal scorer, but also a cricketer and a golfer. Andrew Naboot, is there anything he can't do?
I'll send him over to the MCG tonight. He's got some business first here at Amy Park. And it's great to see him back playing some wonderful football after that Achilles injury robbed him of the start of last season, threatened to rob him of the entire season. He made a miraculous comeback, broke the goal-scoring drought, and now he's got 2 in 2. And he's down here. Shamoon, Bozanovsky looking for the instant reply here. Now Tate Russell, deflection, a little awkward, but Beach, his height, a massive advantage. And he's back on the floor again here, Naboot.
It looks like he's in some pain. But gee, he did brilliantly to win that ball in midfield because he was second favourite, really. Just don't know if he's potentially rolled an ankle as he goes through there, or just treads on the boot of Shamoon.
Well, I don't need to go through the Melbourne City injury list again, do I, Mossy? I don't think we've got enough space on the screen with graphics if we were to put it all up, because I've got 10 players unavailable tonight, 2 suspended, so 8 injured, and that's if you add Tilio to that list. They don't want to make it 11, and Andrew Naboot walking off as well, injured.
He certainly still looks in a fair bit of discomfort. It's like the right knee is what they're checking out. So as he comes across, ooh, I think as he plants his right foot, his studs get caught in the grass. And his right knee just looked like it, dare I say, popped slightly.
You can see the look on his face.
Yeah, that did not look good.
And I just mentioned after he scored that goal, Mossy, so remember at the start of last season, he was expected to be missing the entire of last season with an Achilles injury. Came back after 10 weeks, and now he's got a full pre-season under his belt. He scored goals in back-to-back weeks, and he's being forced off here with what looks to be a knee injury.
Well, the only thing I'll say is there's the tackling midfield that he does so well to start the attack that ended with his goal. So it didn't happen there, so there was nothing wrong with his celebration. What's that challenge on Shamoon, I should say, where I just think as he plants his right foot, his studs just get caught. You can just see his knee tweak.
So remember the injury. So in Japan, did that knee injury. At the World Cup, he did the shoulder dislocation, Achilles last year. Another player who doesn't deserve this at all. No player does, but especially a player that has been injured at key moments throughout his career, just when he's hitting great form. Another sad sight tonight. So Tilio and now Naboot to add to the injury list for Melbourne City. So it's now 9 injured, 11 unavailable at the moment right now. So Cohen is on, the Israeli international, who was dropped to the bench for this one because he was battling a bout of illness during the week. It was his strike at goal which set up Naboot's goal last week against Melbourne victory, following through. So that's just taken the air out for Melbourne City at the moment. They are going to win a free kick.
It's a pretty straightforward decision for referee Ben Abraham. But your heart goes out to Andrew Naboot. It didn't look good as he was helped down the tunnel. He couldn't put any weight on his right leg. The only thing, looking at straws here, but it looked like the damage might be on the inside of the knee. Not the outside, but of course we'll have to wait for scans to confirm it.
Yeah, well, we're not going to rule him out for the season yet, but what we can say is it's not great when you're helped from the field by a couple of trainers and go down the tunnel, just as Marco Tilio did as well. So we'll await further confirmation from City. But we know they've got plenty of talented youngsters who can step up to the plate. And here's one of them, Mehmeti, looking for an option. Oh no, there's another player down here. What is going on tonight?
Well, that to me looked like a contact.
It's Tate Russell. So Beach's chip. Allowed to run on by Cohen for Ugarkovic. Leonard cuts it off. So we'll just have a look, Mossy, and see this incident here involving Russell. Just a bit of an ankle roll.
Yeah, he got his foot stuck in the challenge. A little tweak to the knee or the ankle. He looks to be moving okay.
So how are you seeing Melbourne City rejigging after those injuries to Tilio and Naboot? It looks as though Mehmeti potentially may play more centrally.
Yeah, that's right. And I think we saw that with the goal as well. Kern taking up a slightly wider position, Mehmeti in the middle. The most important thing is their mindset. To see Marco Tilio and Andrew Naboot both help from the field in the game, they need to stay strong mentally if they're to go on and win this game.
Kern didn't quite get to Cohen. So the Austrian and the Israeli, new recruits for Aurelio Vidmar's side this year. And Talbot has it taken off him by Thurgate. He is spinning on the turf as Weston look to break forward.
Well, that was a solid challenge. At first glance, I thought it was fair. This was also judged by Ben Abraham. Not taking anything away from the physicality of it.
Kern has Mehmeti there. Mehmeti on debut. Well, there's just something special about this kid, Mossy. As I said, a hat-trick off the bench on academy debut, almost a goal here on debut.
Well, he just gets between the two defenders, doesn't he? He rides the shoulder. His first touch in a tight area is very good. You know what he's trying to do with his second. Let's just get a little bit of topspin on a volley. Doesn't quite get the connection, but a good sign nonetheless.
You spoke in the first half, Mossy, about a player believing they'll score as opposed to hoping they'll score. You feel like he's one of them at 17 years of age. He just believes that something's going to happen when he gets those opportunities in the box. He's looking so dangerous.
Yeah, I like the way he held his ground there in between the two defenders. He didn't try and make a run in behind. He just held his ground, waited for the ball to be played into him, and I thought in a tight area, a fair bit of pace behind the pass. His first touch was pretty good.
As I mentioned earlier, he would become Melbourne City's youngest A-League men's goal scorer if he finds the back of the net tonight, edging out Max Caputo, Shamoon, Grimaldi. And Grimaldi tried to hook it towards the top corner. Wouldn't sit down for him, though.
Well, I think if he was going to do that, he should have done it on the first attempt. Once he stepped over the ball, it was in a good area for him to let rip. But by the time he does that, his body shape is all wrong. It's going to be very, very difficult for him to keep the ball down. Because Suki was none too pleased either.
So the final half hour of regulation time upon us. You heard Steve Horvat in the halftime show talking about this period of the game for Western United. Last week against Western Sydney Wanderers and against Wellington the week before, they really came home with a wet sail. The team filled to the brim with youngsters. You can already see possession in this second half favouring the home side. And here comes Noah Botic and Abel Wallity. So Oli Laval comes off as well. So Noah Botic, he's had that injury issue with that foot stress fracture which ended last season early, just as he was starting to find his goal-scoring form. He's worked his way back to full fitness through the pre-season and now off the bench for the third week in a row. So too Wallity. And here he is, Wallity. Linking with Russell, who clattered straight into Atkinson. Schreiber. Wallity has a fascinating story. Actually spent some time in Denmark back in 2023. Played in the Danish Cup as Angus Thurgate is going to earn Western a free kick and a yellow card handed the way of Nathaniel Atkinson.
No, I think you'll find it Schreiber for this cynical foul on Angus Thurgate.
Sorry, Mossy. Yep, bang on. Schreiber into the book. He was exiting stage left there.
It wasn't me, it was him. It's a very purposeful run from Thurgate, though, that drew the foul. He's giving his side a free kick in a very good area. Is this the moment of quality they've been waiting for?
So Wallity, not his best dead ball delivery / attempted goal. Quite sure what he was looking for there, whether that was his intention.
Well, I had the line all ready to go, a moment of quality from Wallity, but it didn't arrive. And they're the moments Johnny Aloisi is so frustrated with, because they're working so hard to get themselves back in the game, Western United. Opportunities like that, you've got to make them count.
So that club he played for in Denmark, Wallity, Academics Bold Club, and he played a couple of matches in the Danish Cup. Came back to Australia with Western United after playing his youth football with Green Gully. Ibasuki. Wallity. Won't miss him with those fluoro yellow boots. And all of a sudden, just looking a little bit more confident, Western United. Shamoon. Thurgate. Wallity. Went without it, Bozanovski.
Yeah, it's a shame it broke down for Western United there. You can see Angus Thurgate, and this comes from the training pitch. Players in pockets, players receiving the ball, knowing exactly where the next pass is. The ball from Angus Thurgate into the opposite pocket for Wallity. Was so close to setting them on their way.
Two matches for Western United this season. Both they were down 1-0. Both they came back and scored an equaliser to finish 1-1. Is history going to repeat here at Amy Park? Melbourne City had a 1-0 win over Newcastle on the opening weekend, and then a 3-1 defeat in the derby last week. Wallity takes on Atkinson. He took a bit of his shirt, did Nathaniel Atkinson initially. And Wallity continues to take on Atkinson. This time he will get a yellow ticket.
Well, you could put probably 3 or 4 fingers up there, referee Ben Abraham, because Nathaniel Atkinson had Wallity by the shirt 3 or 4 times in that tussle. Wallity did well to use his strength. He probably would have liked the free kick in the first instance rather than this one. It's a much easier situation for Melbourne City to defend, I think.
So a bit tighter angle this for Wallity. So drops it back for Bozanowski, clips it towards the box. And a great one from Talbot. Now Shamoon hits the stanchion.
Well, it was second or third phase really from the set piece, but a decent strike nonetheless. You can see the technique. He's just trying to get the ball to go up and down. Almost very well executed from Shamoon.
Sorry, it was the camera. I was wondering where that thud came from. It was straight into the camera from Charbel Shamoon.
And I believe that's coming out of your paycheck.
But you can see Melbourne City in their second half just struggling to create chances since the goal to Andrew Naboot, and they're piling up for Western United. Wallity bearing down on goal. And Russell, was there a handball? Botic turning. Danzaki drives. But the big question, was there a handball from Melbourne City in the lead-up?
Well, again, some wonderful build-up play from Western United. And there's that reverse pass I'm talking about again to find Wallity. I think that is a handball, but I think it might be just outside the box. Oh, my goodness. We're going to need a slide rule here. We've got Casey Rybelt in the VAR tonight. I think there's no...
Well, I can read Ben Abraham's lips, and if you're watching at home, you probably can as well. He said the hands are in a natural position.
Yeah, you'd have to say I can agree with that. I mean, look...
Let's not go further into the handball intricacies.
But I would rather see the benefit of the doubt given in that situation than not. Because how many times have we seen it and had the argument about what's natural, what's not?
I agree with you, Mossy.
Play on. Well refereed, Ben Abraham. Well done, Casey Rybelt.
But what it is an indication of is just the pressure that Western United are putting Melbourne City under at the moment. And there is still more than 20 minutes plus stoppage time remaining in this game. There is a long, long way to go for Melbourne City to eke out this result.
Yeah, it's moments like that that you can see the effect of the press from Western United. They're pressing high with intensity, and it forces those errors. Melbourne City try and play out. You see there the last 5 shots. Western United are coming.
Iwasuki, well, every statistic that our stats department are sticking on screen, Mossy, they are telling the story of this game and how Western United are slowly pulling their way back. They just haven't quite done so on the scoreboard yet. Kuhn goes down too easily, according to Abraham, and Iwasuki. Wallity. Thurgate on the outside, drifted into space, shut down by Atkinson. Bozanowski chasing this one. Electric Beach had to be quick up and off his line.
I think it was the wrong option. They didn't have enough real estate to play that pass. They had the ball on that side for about 5 or 6 passes. The space, and you can see Danzaki with his arms in the air. The space was on the other side.
This will be a free kick. Thurgate giving it away. You can sense Aurelio Vidmar on the sideline. He is just feeling the tension at the moment. Wants them to lift Melbourne City.
Yeah, they need to. You sense they need to put another nail in the coffin. I wonder if Thurgate and Ugarkovic used to room together when they were at Newcastle. Benny.
I would say that they'd be fairly close from their time at Newcastle. Thurgate was just coming through in that period where the Jets made the grand final, but of course was a regular with Ugarkovic in the midfield in the years to follow.
Say that, of course, slightly tongue-in-cheek. They've had a few comings together tonight. 2 great competitors on opposite teams now.
Had it taken away by Bozanovski. Tate Russell in a duel now with Politides. So City have won the last 2 meetings between these two sides, looking for 3 straight. It was 1-0 the win for City back in April. It was McLaren who scored the match winner on that occasion. Wallity. Space ahead of him, and he has pace, and Atkinson has to be careful. Now Botic around the corner. Tight angle for Danzaki. He draws it back. Iwasuki on the first, and on the second, Suprayon initially away, and then Atkinson just puts his boot through it.
Well, if that had ended up in the back of the net, there would have been an outcry for the challenge on Zane Schreiber. I thought he had a good argument for a foul at the other end of the pitch. Melbourne City dodge a bullet.
10 clearances in this second half for Melbourne City. Just 1 for Western United. But as we were talking about in the first half, Mossy, you've got to make most of your opportunities, and they're going to have to find a clinical moment. Western.
Here's that replay. I think that's a foul. I really do. He collects Schreiber's knee, brings him to ground unfairly. Here's the moment where Western just couldn't capitalise.
We heard in the off-season John Moss, who's now the referee's boss, saying that he wants a bit more physicality in the A-League men's this season. Is that an example of it there? Or do you think that went too far?
I think it was a foul. You know, I'm all for a bit more physicality and letting the game flow, but a foul's a foul. And if Western United had gone away and scored from that situation, Melbourne City, quite rightly, I think, would have been aggrieved. Got on the sideline microphone.
Apologies for that. Sneaking through. So Seb Pasquale is getting readied by the Western United bench. It would seem that he's going to replace Reece Bozanovski. So Bozanovski came in to start tonight for Pasquale, who started the first 2 for Western. Atkinson, lovely ball to Mehmeti, earns a corner. So some respite here for Melbourne City. Big moment for them. If they can grab a second with 15 to go, that could be like gold.
Well, that's a good little turn of speed from Mehmeti. Again, just off the shoulder. Good ball from Nathaniel Atkinson. Good way to pass. This would be a sucker punch for for Western United if Melbourne City can find the back of the net from this set piece.
So Kuhn hanging it up, Thurgate driving through the box to safety for the moment for the green and black. Kuhn. Statistiche. And they're going to earn a free kick here, and a yellow card goes the way of Wallity, and that's the first passage in a while, Mossy, that Melbourne City have been able to retain possession for a good spell. And it brought a nibble from Wallity and a yellow card his way.
Yeah, just slightly late. I don't think there was any real ill intent there. It's poorly timed.
So Seb Pasquale, who I mentioned before, did start the first two games for Western, comes off the bench here. They do have to be careful with him because between 2019 and 2023, just those 21 matches across 4 seasons because of a hip injury. The former Ajax youth player. And now Zane Schreiber, who made his A-League men's starting debut tonight. He's going to be replaced. And on comes Matt Leckie. What a welcome return for Melbourne City. That is a sight for sore eyes after what they've witnessed tonight. Naboot and Tilio injured, but Leckie returns. And here is a debut for Ben Dunbar. He's been with the City Academy since he was 12. Made his senior debut against Perth in the Australia Cup. Welcome to the A-League, Ben Dunbar. Just 18 years of age. Here's the curler towards the head of Truan. Oh, here's a goal potentially for Politides. What an opportunity, just like in the first half. And he very nearly opened his account in the Isuzu Ute A-League.
Well, the key there was that he attacked the ball. The defender was caught flat-footed. Politides just couldn't quite get it on target.
Talbot and Leckie. And then Dunbar tries to knot it through past Leonard. The 17 and the 18-year-old. A little battle we're going to witness over the next 11 or so minutes.
Isn't it just great to see Matt Leckie back on the pitch? His fair share of injuries since the World Cup in 2022. Where he made himself a household name. Wonderful goal against Denmark.
Yeah, you can watch that goal over and over again, can't you? It never gets old.
I was lucky enough to be in the stadium to see it live. It was a remarkable experience.
Makes us feel a bit bad, Mossy. Only got to see it on the TV screens. That would have been absolutely incredible. Well, can he try and help see this game out for Melbourne City? Wallity is already on a yellow card. Being told to cool his jets here by Ben Abraham.
I think that's good refereeing from Ben Abraham. Keeps his cool. It's not worth a yellow card that would result in an early shower. They do need cool heads in this situation. Western United and Melbourne City, of course, defending that lead.
So final 10 minutes. Oh no! Wow, that was almost a disaster for Sutton. Oh, his heart would have been in his mouth. It was the same end that Beach had the disaster last week in the derby. And Mossy, young keepers getting an opportunity this year, but having a few nervy moments at times. It's making things entertaining, though.
Yeah, it certainly is. You don't want a young keeper to have to deal with big mistakes like that, because it's not just the criticism they'll get in the mainstream media, it's the social media. And look, all you got to do is take your eye off the ball for one split second and it all can come unravelling.
He was pretty calm though, wasn't he, Sutton?
I think he knew he had it covered. Still puts the nerves on notice, doesn't it?
24-year-old who began his A-League men's career with Melbourne City. Juniors in Sydney with the Berries in Lillipilly. Supre on important intervention. And Leckie immediately spied himself on the outside of Thurgate, who comes back and gives away the free kick, Angus Thurgate. Now, I'm reliably informed, Mossy, Angus Thurgate and Steve Ugarkovic, they used to live in the same house in Newcastle by your mate, Nikolai Topor-Stanley. I'm pretty sure Nikolai lived pretty close to them as well. So, yeah, they were all pretty tight, those boys, from their time at the Jets.
The research knows no bounds, Ben Homer, or your contacts. One or the other.
Oh, I just remember driving home one night and they were kicking the football over my car. It was Leonard tries to take on Talbot. So can City seal it, or can Western do what they've done throughout the season so far? A couple of years ago it was the 1-0 Western United brigade. Well, this season it could be the 1-all Western United. Leonard gets it away from danger. Beyond his years, Leonard, 17-year-old, marshalling the defence for Western United. Slotted in so seamlessly alongside Imai there at centre-back. Here comes the pressure from Danzaki. Beach sends it out towards Atkinson, who slipped. It would have been a Western throw if Russell had have left it. Instead, it's Melbourne City. They're happy to waste a few more seconds.
Well, the clock just starting to work against Western United now. They used to stick to their processes, not try and force things too much if they are to get at least an equaliser. Melbourne City, of course, need to manage the game.
Are you sensing a bit of late drama here on Cup Eve, Mossy? You're feeling it?
I am. I still think there's a good energy. It's got a little bit scrappy the last probably 10 or 15 minutes, but still enough energy out there for me. There's another goal in this.
Well, we've had some late goals across the weekend. This period of the match brings tension, brings nerves. There is the Paramount Plus player index. Melbourne City dominating it. A little unfortunate there's not at least one Western United player on that list. Andrew Naboot, who scored the goal, went off injured. Marco Tilio as well, off injured for Melbourne City. Some key stories out of this game.
Yeah, I think Angus Thurgate laid claim to being on in that top 5. Ibasuki, I think he's been good for Western tonight.
Shamoon getting on the outside of Talbot as the Seagulls scatter. Shamoon taking on a couple, and referee saying he tripped over himself amid the swarm of City blue.
Good decision.
Now, Ben Abraham's running across here. Now, who is this going to? Is this going to John Aloisi, or is it a member of the Western United bench? It's hard to work out. He's not a coach that often goes into the book, John Aloisi. Is he frustrated by the time wasting from Melbourne City? Could that be it?
Oh, look, I'm sure that's part.
The free kick, he obviously thought there was a free kick for Shamoon there, but there has been a little bit of time wasting, which you sense may just be causing his blood to boil.
Yeah, that, but also profligacy, I guess, of his own side. They've had opportunities tonight to find the back of it. They haven't done that. It'd certainly be adding to the frustration of the Western United boss.
Shamoon, Ibasuki, Leonard, picked off by Atkinson. Had a really good patch, Western United, midway through this second half, but in the last 10 minutes it has been like that for Western United. Frustrating.
The picture tells 1,000 words, hey?
Pasquale. Leonard, does he have an option? He's looking for someone in green and black. He has to go long. Cyprian cuts it out. It will be a throw here for Western. A slight opening for them.
He's been good tonight, Cyprian. A real leader's performance at the back. Could have, maybe should have, found himself on the score sheet in the first half with that header.
Botic, Danzaki, Atkinson's clearance, only as far as Pasquale. Now Thurgate chiming in. Thurgate taking them on. Then get it past Cohen. A little slip from Kern. And Thurgate goes in and gives away the free kick.
The slips there. Kern gives Thurgate the chance to turn it into a challenge. Free kick's a decision. Melbourne City will be looking to soak up every second they can now. Going into protection mode rather than looking for the second goal.
John Aloisi is still furious, and that certainly indicates his annoyance with Melbourne City just sucking more time off the clock.
Look, I think the frustration really comes from within, and that is that people know Western United have done enough to get something out of this game tonight. If it stays the way it is, they'll go home empty-handed. Just like that final touch, the final pass, the final decision.
So 5 minutes for Western United to pull something out of the fire. They've got a corner here. This game is not over by any stretch. Just because Western United have struggled to create any chances of note over the last 10 to 15 minutes doesn't mean they're dead and buried. It only takes one moment. Wallity, back post. Botic was there, so too was Ibasuki. And Botic was in a great position.
Well, that is why you bring a player of Matt Leckie's experience onto the pitch. The way he used his body then to protect the ball as it flew to the back post and then clear the danger. First class.
Shamoon screaming out for it on this left flank. And the slip from Danzaki did for him and Shamoon. And now Western spring forward through Ben Dunbar. The 18-year-old Cohen. And now a slip from Leckie. Ibasuki saw it as an opportunity. Leckie's somehow flicked it off the turf. Wallity around the outside. He glided away from Politidis, and Atkinson said, well, safety first.
Well, not for the first time we've seen players end up on their backside. It's surfaced tonight. Of course, there was the incident with Andrew in a boot. I'm not suggesting it's all down to the surface, but it does look a bit slippery underfoot.
Danzaki. Albert taking no chances. Danzaki nudged it. Spilled almost for Wallity and Steve Ugarkovic. How often in those kind of moments does he come up big for his side? Those 1%ers. Shamoon urged to shoot, just shut off by Leckie. Wallity nodded away by Truitt. Pasquale heading it. He will win it back for Western. Danzaki scuffs it with the left. A bit chaotic the last few minutes. Nerves jangling for City. Can they break forward here? Kern. Over the head of Politidis, but it's just too quick and it skids over the sideline. So less than 2 minutes minimum for Western United. They've got a free kick.
I know the scoreline is only 1-0, but Monday Night Football hasn't let us down. It's been a game with plenty of chances, end-to-end football, good intensity. Can this be the moment for Western United?
Driven in. Ibasuki up. It will roll away for Shamoon. Has Danzaki. Back to Shamoon. Drives it across. Ibasuki couldn't keep the header down.
Well, he connected with this on the rise, and Noah Botic is right behind him, ready to attack that ball. I'm not suggesting for a moment that a striker will let that run in that area, but Noah Botic was certainly better placed. And that could be it for Western United. They've huffed and they've puffed, but it looks as though they're going to fail to blow the Melbourne City house down.
Wallity. It's still there for him. It's a free kick for Western. It could be all on this for the green and black. Sam Pasquale trying to pinch a couple more metres. So in the battle of the west and east of Melbourne, it all comes down to this moment for Western United to try and pinch a point. Pasquale stands over it and floats it over the top. And after derby disappointment, Melbourne City celebrate their 400th A-League men's match in style with 3 competition points and a 1-0 victory over their local rivals. Unfortunately for Western United, the wait will go on for John Aloisi and his side to claim their first win of the season. Draws in the first 2 weeks, a loss in round 3. They head to Adelaide next week in search of their first win. Melbourne City travel away to Perth, but they will most likely be without Marco Tilio and Andrew Naboot, who both left the field injured. Naboot, after he scored the match winner. It finishes at Amy Park. Western United 0, Melbourne City 1. And Phil Moss, that will be satisfying for Aurelio Vidmar. Another clean sheet, 2 in their first 3 after that derby defeat last week.
Yeah, just as frustrating as it will be for John Aloisi.